Okay, boys and girls, today I'm going to tear into my compost pile. As you can see, it's already kind of fallen apart. It's been sitting here for a couple of years. I think last year, before we left in January, I was raking some leaves for a lady, and I always bring all that stuff home with me to compost. And I had all these bins filled up. Now, these are all our compost bins. You can see that a lot of the pallets have already deteriorated, need to be replaced, but they still function. So those were full. They've compressed all the way down. We just pulled all of this Johnson grass out of another area of our garden, and instead of getting rid of it or burning it, we're going to compost it. But I was looking at this. I need to sift this, and I need to get it into the garden and into the garden beds, because we're going to have planting time here in a few months. It'll be here before you know it. And so I want to be prepared. So before I opened up this cage and kind of got in there to see the condition of the compost, I thought I'd make this little video, share this with you, and you guys can tell me what you think. Now, when I'm here full time and I've got access to a lot of green material, then I will actively do thermal compost. Thermal compost, though, requires quite a bit of work. You have to manage it. It's almost like having a child, because it can't go more than like 3 days, and especially when you first start off, because of the heat, and it can actually become dangerous if you have too much material in there that the microbes can feed on, because the temperatures can get in excess of 180 degrees, and that's not really beneficial for your compost or your good microbes. This probably was thermal off and on, but I haven't been here full time for some time, so I just basically use it as a place to hold material that will eventually break down and end up in the gardening space, whether it's the main garden, the beds, or in pots. But really, this is all you need, just some old fencing. This is just old fencing that I found, that I just repurposed, and it's got small enough gaps in the wire to where the material doesn't fall out, but it's big enough to allow airflow, and that's what you want. You want the air to be able to get in there and give oxygen to all the good stuff. I'm just going to secure this wire real quick so it doesn't get in the way here in a few minutes whenever we're trying to play in the compost. So just roll this up. It's cold here today. It's getting colder as the day goes on. It wasn't that cold this morning. And then I'm just going to take one of these little ends, and I'm just going to secure this roll of wire, and I'll just set it over here out of the way. See? Now, another thing you really should get for composting is a hay fork, because they're rigid tines, they're long handled, so you can work from this position, and they will maneuver, and you can really turn the compost with this type of tool versus like a potato fork is what I call them, the shorter forks. This is one of your best options, and the plastic ones will work, but you can break the plastic. Eventually, you're going to break it. All right, so let's tear into this. You can see there's still lots of undigested material. So in this instance, the best, that's probably an old cow pie right there. The best way to deal with this would be to get a screen, sift out all the finished material, and then like this. This is just leaf. This is just, or cardboard. I compost all my cardboard too. So that's just a piece of cardboard. You can see how broken down it was. And this is just all matted material because it wasn't getting turned. But now we're getting into, look, there's more material. That's probably manure there. but I wanted to get into the middle of this and see how it looked. But you can still see there's still lots to be done, lots of composting. So we're gonna have to get this pile going again. This isn't as far along as I hoped it would be. Look at all those leaves. Those leaves are not even touched. So this is in the center of this pile, and it's not really breaking down the material, and that's just part of it. I mean, I understand that if I don't actively have thermal compost, it's not going to compost. So that's what this pile looks like, and that pile is probably more of the same. So what we're going to have to do is we can sift a lot of the good stuff out of this and use it, but we're going to have to really get this thermal situation going. But it's a lot of work. At least initially, it's a lot of work. But I've composted piles this big in like 7 weeks. I think is about how long it takes, about 50 days, and had really nice finished compost, and it's worth it. You just have to be here, you have to work on it, you have to monitor it, and you have to have all the materials. So we got to start kind of gathering up materials, and I'll get this compost going, and I'll probably make a video of that when I build the compost pile to show you how I do it. But there you go. That's what a compost pile looks like that's been sitting for a few years and hasn't been managed.